Hey everyone, it is Fridays with Neen.
Fridays with Neem. Fridays with Neem. Every day it's Fridays with Neem.
Womp womp. Oh
One
my
of these
gosh,
days I'll
hi
bring my
Steph.
tambourine. Hey, Neen.
How are you?
I'm great because we're here at Fridays with Neen, and it's, you
Oh,
know what? And it's September 1st when everyone's listening to the,
yes.
the best day in the world.
I know, right? If only we had like copyright
Oh,
privileges here, or however you want to state that, and we could play what is it?
sing it.
September?
Yes, we could. Do you remember the 21st night of
Oh yeah,
September? Wait. Do you remember the
that
first
sounded like Michael
Friday of
Jackson for a second.
September? It's Fridays with Neem. Sorry, I was trying to rewrite it.
Oh, I
I
love it.
know. We would be
Man, but you know what?
dinged.
Also, because we were talking about this the other day, is that, man, so when our next episode drops, it's going to be my birthday. It literally is like our birthday season.
Birthday
I guess that
season.
just really didn't phase me. What day does yours fall on?
Mine's on a Monday, so we'll probably
Monday.
be like, I'll be 42 when that episode drops.
Yeah.
And
Oh my
then I'm like,
gosh.
shit.
How exciting. It's an exciting month. September 1st. Here we come.
Oh my God. One can only hope it'll be crisp outside because I'm sorry, you and I were both sweating up a storm today.
I was.
And that says
And
a
it was so
lot.
funny because you texted me
Yeah.
and then I was listening to it and I was like, oh my gosh, it was so hot.
Neat.
Like,
And for you to say it was hotter in Redwood City than at your home city, I was like, excuse you.
yeah,
What?
I maybe too, because psychologically I wasn't prepared for that heat. Like I said, I brought a freaking sweatshirt
Oh
to
my
work out
God.
in to take a walk. And
Jesus
I
Christ.
had in my head I was gonna do like 4 miles round trip.
Yeah.
Gonna do it.
Yeah.
Hell no.
Mm-mm.
On my first mile, I was like, it is so hot. And it got to the point towards the end, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. Because it was like beating that sun was
Hmm.
so strong. I'm like, what
No,
is going on this side of the bay?
I hear you because I did the same. I did 4 miles at work today, but I split it up in morning and afternoon. So I was like, let me hit the
Mhm.
morning real quick before it gets really hot. It was hot already. It's like, what is this? I went back and I was sweating.
Mm,
Oh my God. And then the
yeah.
afternoon was worse and I was in jeans.
Dang. But you know what, though? Indian summer is upon us soon,
Get
and I'm pretty sure
away.
there's going to be a lot of hot nights.
Ew. We're sleeping in the living room again tonight, I think.
Oh gosh, because that heat rises, huh?
It does.
Yeah. But you have a Dyson
We
fan,
do.
don't you?
We
I
do.
can't
And
remember when
we
that came out.
that little ditty has been working overtime, let me tell you, because
Mm-hmm.
the app will show you how hot it is in the room and it was straight up 94 degrees in there. I was like, I'm out. Like I'm out. We need solutions. We need an
Yeah.
AC unit. I don't know. Like what the fuck?
Mm-hmm. No,
So
it's torture because I literally will not, and you know how I feel about the cold, but I will not go to sleep without a fan. I'm one of those people.
exactly. So I'm one of those people too, but oftentimes I'll wake up and I'll feel like congested because the fan has been blowing
Yeah.
in my face.
No, for real, exactly. Like, and that was my issue for a while when we first got this one. It was like blowing in my
Ugh.
nose, like because I had it straight up in my face. I'm not gonna lie. And Tony's like, "Oh my gosh!" The minute if I would get up to go to the bathroom, he'd be like, "Oh, there's the fan," because I totally was blocking it. But when I woke up the next morning, I couldn't. I was all congested,
Oh,
where your throat's all dry. I can't
yeah.
handle that. So
Yeah.
I put it at the
Ugh.
foot of the bed.
Neat. Yeah, ours is at the foot of the bed. It's insane. It's
Do
really
you
bad.
sleep naked?
No, because weirdly enough, the only part of me that's hot is my butt. Like so much heat comes
Interesting.
out of my backside. So so like being like
Wow.
I have to still be covered, but strategically, like so that my butt is getting air. But I have undies on.
That's hilarious. I don't sleep with clothes. I can't do it. And Presley one time was like, "Oh my God, you have no clothes on." I go, "You know what? I don't care.
Yeah,
It
like
is
this is how
hot."
we entered the world.
Yeah.
Pretzel.
Exactly. And she's like, so now she's like, whatever. But I'm like, Tony's over there in his like long johns, like a little boy, like with
Oh,
pajamas.
I can't wait to see him. Oh my God, my little boo. It's been too
He
long.
he straight up puts his pajamas under his pillow. Who does that?
Me.
I'm like, I haven't done that since I was like in seventh grade.
I mean, but I change my pajamas every day. I'm really weird, but like
Hmm.
in the morning after I made my bed, I'll put the evening selection under my pillow. Yeah, I do that. It's so
That's
weird.
cute. Oh my gosh, man. And probably everybody's like, I do. I don't know. And maybe because I just don't have pajamas. I just can't do pajamas. I don't like
Right.
things suffocating me or when I turn
Yeah.
and things get twisted.
Yeah.
Because I move around a lot when I sleep.
Note to self, don't get Neen cute PJs for her birthday. Got
Yeah.
it.
No, 'cause
Noted.
they'll be on the side of my bed.
Staring at you.
Okay, I'll wear them. I'll wear them graciously prior, but in bed, screw it.
Wait,
Uh-uh.
can I tell you like this really funny thing that I've thought of today, and I think that you'll be in full agreement. Wouldn't it be cute if one day the podcast episode started and instead of you and me, it's Angel and Tony?
Oh my gosh, wouldn't that be hilarious?
Like
Oh
you
my
just
God, that
all of a
would
sudden you
be
see how
dang, and they're
cute.
polar opposites of us.
I know. They'll be like, "Hi, let's talk about world peace today," and the birds chirping outside and the stars twinkling at night.
Oh my God, that would actually be like April Fools.
Let's do it in April
Yeah,
since, yeah, I should have
see if
texted
people
this to you,
remember.
but I wanted to tell it to you because I thought it was such a cute little idea.
I actually really like that idea. That's actually pretty funny. And they could have wigs.
Oh my God. Stop, it's getting cuter. I just
Oh
pictured
my
Tony with
God.
like a short blonde wig. I don't know why.
Well, that's so funny because when I told you when I cut my hair, I want to dye it blonde. Well, with streaks. I just want a whole change.
Oh my God.
I'm
I
sick of
love
it.
it. You have the skin tone for any color.
Oh, thank you.
You know what?
I'm
I
just
want
sick of this
pink.
dark hair. You want pink?
I want pink hair.
Oh my God, I love
Yeah, but
that.
I don't know how it's gonna look on my skin color. So it's psh,
You could do a peekaboo.
it's peekaboo.
Yeah, just underneath, so it peeks out.
Okay.
Yeah, I
You have
love a
to.
good peekaboo.
I've never had a peekaboo.
Oh my gosh, because you could, that's the thing is like you could be so creative with things like with color, like even like people, I've done people where they like their whole hair is dark and then they lift up their hair to put it in a ponytail and the back is purple, blue, or rainbow colors. Yeah,
Okay.
sky's the limit.
I want to do that when my hair grows out a little bit more so that it looks
Yes.
hella cute with a
Oh
pony.
my gosh, that would be amazing. Okay, as you would say, put a
Yay.
pin in that.
Put a
Hmm.
pin. Yes. Oh
I
my
love it.
gosh.
What was I gonna, I was gonna tell you something before we get the show started,
Ooh, some
but
sort of tea.
I don't think so, but
Damn
I
it.
can't remember. If it comes back to me, I'll say something.
Okay. Okay.
But, oh, you know what? I did want to mention though, like we had just talked about before we hopped on, is Hopi, Hope
Hmm.
Marie texted us, sent us a message thanking us about the last Fridays with Neen, where we were talking about pre-planning
Yes.
and how important it is. So, um, thank you.
Shout out.
Yeah, because it's really like, and she wasn't the first person to say that. Someone else had told me when someone I knew, well, obviously I know her, she's my cousin, but still, someone else I knew said something but it is because it's so imperative to like plan ahead.
Oh
And
yeah. I've
it's
been on a
like I said, taboo, but
no, I've been on a freaking warpath. And I just told Neen right before we hopped on that I brought it up to my father whilst walking him to his car rather than taking him to lunch and asking him if how things are going. No, I asked him on the way to his car, like, hi, father. Like, oh my God. So we're going to try that again. And I'm going to listen to Neen this time and I'm going to take him to lunch because
yes.
we're all handling business. Like, if we're not handled before the end of this year, mark my words, 2024, it'll be the year of order and we need to hurry up. I already
Man.
told Diosito, I was like, I can't go anywhere until my shit's in order. So,
No, and you know what? That's true. And I think like in the day and age that we live in,
mm-hmm,
especially where COVID is
mm-hmm.
something that is big, and it could, we don't know what, we don't know. We didn't even expect COVID to happen. Okay. So we should always be prepared because we just don't know.
We don't. I could
Yeah.
I could get hit by, you know how many crazy drivers there are in the city? Like I
Hmm.
swear, like so no, today I
Yeah.
contacted our through my job, we get like access to attorneys and stuff. And I'm like, let me use these benefits. So I sent
Hmm.
out an inquiry and I'm like, I need help with this. So
I love it. And like I said, and I'm pretty sure we mentioned that on the podcast, is that if you can't afford going through an attorney or you don't know where to go, there are free websites that will actually have it all written out for you. All you have to do,
yes.
I think it's like freewill.com.
It is because I looked at it today and I got
Mm-hmm.
scared and I clicked off. But like yeah, it's there. It's very self-explanatory. I think I'm gonna use that route to help my parents.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I was very pleased to see that. Google is a very helpful resource because another question that popped up there was, do I need to have things notarized? And in the state of California, it's not required,
Mm-hmm.
though it can't hurt, but it's
Yeah,
like not a, they won't be like, oh my god, it's not notarized, get that out of here. So
right. It's still something that is like acknowledged,
yes.
but I will say working in a funeral home,
Yes.
it depends on the funeral home. There's some funeral homes that are very strict. There's some that aren't.
Hmm.
I know the one that I worked in, they were like by the book because there were instances where people came back and said, "Oh no, I am the, what do you call it? What do you call it?
Beneficiary, power of attorney.
No, the oldest one in the group. What do you call it? Like the heir, or no, not the
Oh,
heir,
okay,
but
the sole heir,
yeah,
the
like
main
the old,
heir.
Susie's not the oldest. I am. I should be the
Okay.
one that's in charge, that kind of thing. And it's come and bit them in the ass, so they're super, super. When in doubt, all I gotta say is notarize.
Exactly. It's $15 at UPS. Just do it.
Yeah, exactly. Can I just ask you something? This is what I was going to ask you when we we're talking about the heat. Have you ever gone into the bathroom
Hmm.
and those little paper toilet seat covers?
Ugh.
And you're so hot. So this is what happened to me today.
Yeah.
Did they have I was so hot and I was sweating everywhere. And literally those things attach to you.
Yeah, and little pieces too. It's so flippin' annoying. No, I
Yeah.
hate that. That's why
Okay,
you
I'm
just,
glad I'm not the only
no, you're
one.
not. That's why you just hover above the toilet
Yeah,
because
and I did, but because I was so dehydrated from not bringing my water bottle that was in my car full as all get
oh.
out, I was like shaking. So my knees were like, help. But, I survived. But okay, I'm glad I'm not alone. But anyways, I guess we'll just roll right into the topic of today.
Ooh, ding 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 ding.
And maybe it will be a two-parter. You never know, because I feel like it's a topic that once people start talking about it, it just keeps on going, and it's a really heavy topic, but it's also one of those things I think that a lot of people view it very differently, and even men versus women. So there's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of factors that come into play. So we're going to talk about cheating.
Mm-hmm.
Dun dun dun.
Mm-hmm.
So in your head, Steph,
Mm-hmm.
and I think for me, it's rather like, and probably for you too, rather like no brainer. But
Mm-hmm.
do you think men cheat more or women?
I feel like physically cheat, men do cheat more because I feel like it's just about the physical.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think it's way worse when women do it because women go all in with emotion and emotional
Yeah.
cheating. That's like heart and body and
Mm-hmm.
mind. So,
Oh,
yeah,
completely. Okay.
that's my answer.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I feel men are the ones more prone to cheat versus the women. I think that women tend to think twice. Men act, and I don't like to say that they think with something another head kind of thing. I don't like to do that because I feel like there's a lot more. There are some that just think like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that lies when men are like that. I feel like that kind of lies along the lines of like a narcissist, where they
Mm-hmm.
think like, oh, okay, well, I could do whatever I want, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that if you have a soul, if you have a conscience, you're going to think twice, right?
Yes.
So, but I think that men though, um, definitely are the ones that are more prone to cheating. And it says, according to the General Social Survey, men are more likely to cheat than women, with 20% of men and 13% of women reporting having sex with someone other than their partner while still married. However, the gender gap varies per age, which is
Hmm.
interesting. So, did you hear that?
Yeah, what was that?
It's like someone fell. Hope you're okay there, Tony. So which is interesting because I don't know. I mean, I guess you could say when men are maybe younger, maybe they're more prone to not being as, committed, and they don't
Mhm.
have much of a care, right? They don't
Okay.
care about people's feelings. But it's funny, I was doing some research and I was looking at some videos and I saw this one video in particular and I never thought of it. And they were asking people, is it okay to cheat? And they asked like 100 different people. And this one girl they came upon, and I wanted to know what you felt about this, and we could talk about it, is that this one girl said, well, I cheated, but I was intoxicated. So being that I wasn't in the right frame of mind and I didn't know what I was doing because I was drunk, that's not considered cheating. So
What?
I could honestly say I don't see anything wrong with that and you should get a pass. And she was like totally serious. And I'm like, huh, I find that part, and this was coming from a girl. So how do you feel about that?
I'm annoyed because how would she feel if her boyfriend got drunk? And I'm sure she would just be like, "Oh, you were just drunk, honey. It didn't mean anything." No, she's just saying because she did it. That
Mm-hmm.
is cheating. I'm sorry. Some
Exactly.
part of you is aware.
Thank you. For real. I mean, because like they say, drunks never lie.
Mm,
Like
yeah.
there's a really big statement in that. And I think that no matter what you do, regardless if you're drunk or not, you still know you have a family or a wife at home or a husband. Like it doesn't matter whether or not you are under the influence. That doesn't take over your whole you know, brain cells where you can't remember where you live and shit unless you black
Yeah.
out. But
Yeah.
even then, um, I don't know. I just think that's a cop out
The
myself.
only the only way that I would buy that is if it was a case where someone was assaulted and it was against their
Right.
will. That obviously isn't
Absolutely.
cheating.
Mhm.
Um, because you mentioned blackout drunk, and
Mhm.
if
Exactly.
they're not
Those
able
are
to consent,
And that
but
was what but see, and that's what she had said. She said that was the word. She had said that she didn't give consent. There it wasn't consensual, therefore it wasn't cheating. But I'm like, okay, but if you're drunk, see to me, okay, this is raising like red flags to me. That's to me saying that I don't know. I don't even know how you could even because like you said, there's people that black out once
yeah.
they drink. And there's a point where they just don't remember anything, right? But I do feel that there's those people that use that as an excuse to get away with things.
Lying about being sexually assaulted?
Mhm.
Wow. That's a low.
Right. And that's what she was like, well, because that was the thing. I was like, okay, if you're not if you're not giving consent, then that's considered something else.
Yeah, that's sexual assault.
Exactly. And she was like, so uh, it didn't make sense. It
Hmm.
really didn't. Because to me, I feel like regardless, when you are drinking and you are drunk, we've all been there. We know what we're doing. I don't know when you drink and if you get to that point where you know you've lost it. You've gone down the road that's, it's going to look pretty crappy the next day, right? But in your head, I'm like, okay, I know that I'm drunk.
I've blacked out in my 20s.
Mhm.
I know that that's a very real thing
Mhm.
because one minute I'm standing out on a sidewalk, and then a second later I wake up and I'm in a hospital room. Like, so I
That's right.
don't know what happened in between.
Mhm.
So anything could have happened to me had I not had a good friend by my side
Yes,
and the
exactly.
whole time. So like, but if so, I know that, you know, and also if people like, then this is a whole other like can of worms where, you
Mhm,
know, you're at a bar and like someone spikes your drink and then they take advantage of you that way. So
mhm,
that's also like you're unable to consent because you don't have the wherewithal to do so. You don't have
mhm.
the mind at all to do it. So
Right. And that's
no,
in a category all its own. And I
exactly.
think that for people to use that, if you haven't blacked out,
Uh-huh.
I think you do have the mindset to know
Uh-huh.
this is wrong. You know, unless you get to that point and you're, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on the person. I mean, I know different people take alcohol and absorb it differently and have different reactions to it.
Hmm.
I just know a lot of people that have been drunk and they still know what they're doing.
Yeah, those people, the ones that are drinking and they're aware of their what they're doing and they knowingly consent or they knowingly enter into a sexual thing with someone else and they're in a
Mhm.
relationship, yeah, that's cheating. But if
Mhm.
this person, but if a person, like let's say me, like I drink and I
Mhm.
get drunk and I don't know what I'm doing and someone takes advantage of me and you know, I'm not able to agree with it or tell them no,
Mhm.
that's sexual assault.
Yeah. And that definitely would be forgiven,
Oh
I would hope.
gosh. There's people that don't though.
Yeah, I was going to say I would hope because there's those people that can't. And I
See
get
past
it.
it.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and we've heard stories like that where people have been, you know, unfortunately raped or whatever, and they were in a committed relationship, but they can't imagine the fact that someone was with them, you know, and the thought of that. And I want to say it was on some, I want to say it was like on 90210 or something. There was a show in the 90s that we saw where something like this happened and this conversation occurred. And I can't remember what show it was, but this whole conversation sounds familiar. That being said, that was wrong. But I feel
Yes.
like a lot of people, a lot of times, do use certain situations as an excuse to get around, you know, the whole idea of, oh, was it cheating? Like that fine line, you know?
Hmm.
To me, cheating is cheating. And I feel like nowadays cheating is a lot more complex than it was before. And I think we've talked about this before, how back in the day, when you think about it in the 90s, like everything was anonymous. You know,
Yeah.
everything was quiet. Like we didn't have to worry about okay, if, you know, we didn't have cell phones. If someone didn't want to be found, then they just simply didn't tell anybody.
Yeah. Now you can trace, like you can track them. Like, oh my
Mhm.
God. Like
Yes. And you know, and it's so funny how, well, we'll get into that in a second. Let's just go down these reasons because this is like this could go many different ways. So,
uh-huh.
why do you think some of the reasons are why people cheat in a relationship?
I think that okay, people get comfortable.
Mhm.
You know, the romance has fizzled, and maybe one person is comfortable, and I'm using myself as an example.
Mhm.
You know, you get comfortable, you're like, you know, this person won't hurt me, and you know, you fully trust them, but like work gets in the way, kids get in the way, life gets in
Mhm.
the way. All of a sudden, it's 6 months later. So the other person's like, hi, I need to get my
Mhm.
rocks off. And
Right.
so and maybe they're getting attention paid to them and they
Mhm.
like it because they're not feeling appreciated at home or like
Mhm.
sexy or anything. So I think lack of appreciation, lack of attention will
Mhm.
lead somebody astray for sure.
Mhm.
They're missing that excitement that you feel in a relationship, though you and I, we don't have that problem in our relationships because literally
Okay.
I look at my wife and I'm like, damn, like, okay,
Right?
like,
I know,
thank you,
for real.
God, you know, so God bless us. So thank you. But
Right?
other people, you know, sometimes they don't feel appreciated and
Mhm.
they have to turn to other people to
Mhm.
feel alive again and to have that spark, that honeymoon phase again, you know?
Mhm.
So I
Definitely.
think that's a big thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
The
It is.
spark, the excitement.
Yeah, because I think that's something that we all want and you want to continue,
Mhm.
right? Until the end of until the fact that when you're no longer breathing, right? But
Exactly.
it's hard to maintain that sometimes. And
Yes.
no matter what, like they say, here's some prime examples of reasons why people cheat, and Steph said some of them. Lack of love, unhappy in your relationship, a need for change, the need for validation, sexual fantasies, and lack of attention. So I think all these kind of go along the same lines of what you were talking about. And I think that it's very easy when you're in a relationship to feel complacent after being with someone for a really long time. And I don't want to place blame on anyone, but I think that it's mutually, you know, each person's job in a relationship to try and fulfill certain things for one another. It's like you and I, like for me, I know what Tony likes, or what Kara likes, and I think that even if we're tired sometimes, I think sometimes we need to go out of our way to try and make, you know, like for example, I've been really busy, and Tony went back to work obviously, and I had a few couple days off, or I had like a day off, not even, but I had a day off, and he goes, and I didn't text him because I was busy, and he's like, "You don't miss me anymore?" Like that. He's like, "I had such a good time on vacation, and you just forgot about me." And I'm like, I know, but I'm busy. It's not that I don't think about you, but I feel like, you have to know how your partner is. And it's not that I don't want to, but like maybe I get sidetracked, or, I went into work later. So the morning was like kind of crazy. Right. And it's just sometimes, though, you have to like make mental notes to do little things, leave little things behind, little notes here and there, or something to let them know you're thinking of them,
Mhm.
because those little things go a long way in
Oh
a
yeah.
relationship.
Definitely, Neen. I totally agree. Like I leave little notes in Angel's lunch. Like I sneak them in, or
Yes,
like I
exactly.
hit on her all the time, and I mean it. It's not just because like you have
You have
no,
to.
like it comes out of me. I'm like, wow.
Yeah,
Like
for real. And I think it's so funny because like we've talked about this before, about how like when we look at our shittiest, or like we feel our crappiest, and they're like, "You're so beautiful." And
she
you're like,
every morning. Neen, I'm a hyena in the morning, and I'm sitting in bed like trying to like figure out where I'm at. And she goes,
"Ah,
"You're so gorgeous," and she
mm."
means it. I'm like, "What are you on? We need to check your prescription. What the hell?"
Well, no, and it's like we were on vacation last week, and I can't remember what happened, but I forgot my makeup bag
Ugh,
in the car. He's like, "You don't need makeup. You're one of those people. You're so lucky." I go, "Sure." And a lot of times, like, I do put on makeup, like, if I don't like to wear it all the time, but when I do, it's more so because it either will wake me up if I gotta go somewhere and I'm feeling kind of sluggish, or you just want to feel like you feel a little bit
yeah,
more, I don't know,
exactly. Put
something.
together or something.
Yeah,
I do agree with him. You
exactly.
don't need makeup. You have that cute
Uh,
little baby
no,
face. You
so do
just want to
you.
smack
For
up and
real.
down.
No, but it's just one of those things. Like, even if it's just mascara,
Yes.
just to make yourself look good or feel good inside.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like a little bit of a confidence booster. But it's nice to hear that every now and then. And even though it's one of those things that you don't really want to hear, like, or you don't believe, it's nice to hear when you least expect it, you know,
Yes.
because, or else I'd be worried, right? Lack of attention, I
Yeah.
think that's along the same lines, but I think that it's always important to also flirt with one another.
Hmm.
You're really good at that. You are. You're really good at flirting with Kara, but she gives it back in her own cute, subtle
Hmm.
way, you
She
know?
does.
And I think that's important because it's always cute to see when you see old folks and they're like super, and they're older, but they're still super like flirtatious with one
Yeah.
another. And I love that. And I think that once you stop doing that, it becomes like it's like anything, like even with sex, when you stop having sex with your partner, it becomes normal and then you don't know how to do it anymore.
Very true.
And that could be an issue too, why someone will stray.
Hmm.
Need for validation, I think, is a really big one
Hmm.
because, especially with men too, they say a lot of times, like, we all change as time goes on. And I think for us women, I think as we get older, we get more, confident. I think that certain things grow in us that we did, like, for example, you know, like they say with weight. A lot of times when we're younger, we're worried about this. How does this look? How does that look? And I think once you hit a certain age, um, you don't give a crap anymore. You
Hmm.
own who you are, what you are, and you feel really good about just being yourself. But I think with men, I think a lot of times they look in the mirror and they reflect and realize I'm getting older or things don't work as well as they used to. And for them, that could be, you know, uh, I guess like a feeling of failure. And I think a lot of times you hear of men that go through like midlife crises. Is that a word?
Yep.
And
Crises.
thank you. I'm like, that didn't sound right. And they end up finding that younger chick.
There's always a younger chick.
Uh-huh.
Speaking from experience.
Exactly. But it makes them feel more young
Hmm.
versus, just, okay, I'm in this relationship, even though it's a great relationship, I'm comfortable, whatever, we had a great life. But then, they need a new, something new.
Toy.
Yeah, exactly. What did Monica Geller's parents call
A
her?
chippy. Wait,
Was
some
it?
little cookie,
Yeah, it was
some
something like
cookie
that.
in the city, some cookie in the city or
Yes,
something
that's
like that.
right. Although I really liked
Twinkie.
her. That was it, Twinkie. But I really liked her and
I
what's his
loved
name?
her and Richard.
Yes, I
Loved
loved
him.
it. I actually prefer him over Chandler.
See, I do too, but I love their relationship because, of course, they have the whole best friend thing.
Yes, no, totally. And I mean, those are the kind of relationships that will last forever, right?
Yeah.
Or so we hope.
Yeah.
And then also like another one, and I know we talked about this also in a Fridays with Neen, but we didn't talk about sexual fantasies, but we talked just about sex in general. But I think as we grow older and we evolve, like there's other things like when you've been together with someone for like even just 10 years, you're used to one another.
Hmm.
Imagine being with someone for 20 years and then,
Jesus.
trying to keep it exciting and new. And I think a lot of times people don't know how to do that. Even though you're comfortable with that person, I think a lot of times people are embarrassed to bring up something new to their partner. And I think that's where they decide to maybe stray if they're not getting what they want in the bedroom. Or maybe their wives or husbands don't want to do it.
Hmm.
Like, how would you feel? Like, how do you think that should go? Because I have been in a relationship before where something was brought up that I did not want to do. And
I've been in that too.
and I felt very uncomfortable. And literally they even threatened cheating because
Wow.
they wanted it that bad. And it was to the point where it was like, if you that's what you want, then go do that. But it also made me feel like, okay, is this how it's going to be for the rest of my life if I don't do this?
That's a good question to have, and it very well may have been that way,
Hmm.
had
Yeah.
you stayed. And I've been in something similar. That's why I feel so safe with an angel and just fulfilled,
Hmm.
in this relationship and free and all
Hmm.
that. But in a prior relationship, I, was asked to do
Hmm.
something that I didn't want to do,
Hmm.
but I tried it and I didn't
Hmm.
like it. And
Hmm.
but at least I was like, well, at least I tried,
Yeah.
and you want to, if you think that if you love the person and you feel like, okay, I'm willing to give it a shot,
Hmm.
definitely go for it if you're willing to and wanting to, but not if it's not in your heart to do so.
Yeah, exactly. I think that even though you're married to someone,
Yeah,
you should never feel forced to do something you
exactly.
don't feel comfortable
That's
with,
not a marriage.
and they should appreciate that. I think that a lot of times we feel because we're married that you have to like do it, like it's your duty.
Do you think that things like this should be part of the bigger discussion prior to entering into a marriage? Like,
Absolutely.
I would feel, I think this was before, but like, I would feel totally like caught off guard, and rightfully so if this was after the fact. I'd be like, well,
Hmm.
we should have had this conversation before we decided to get married if it was going to be such a big deal.
Yeah. If it was a make or break thing. And
Exactly,
that's
like
what
the
it
one.
was for me.
Exactly. That
Hmm.
and this was after you were right. So
Hmm.
like,
So
where was
pri
this a year
so
ago?
prior to us getting, so it was with my first husband, right?
Yeah.
So prior to us getting married, he had brought it up and I said, "No, I don't feel comfortable with this. I don't want to do that." Right?
Okay.
Then after we got married, and he said he was okay with it,
Okay.
right?
Oh, see,
Then
no, that's even worse.
after we got married, he brought it up again. And I was like, "No." And then it became, "Well, if you loved me, you would do it."
Oh, that is like the famous last words. Pack
Mhm.
your shit and get the
Mhm.
hell out.
Yeah, exactly. And that's pretty much what I said. I was like, "I'm sorry, I'm not gonna do that." Like, and I don't at this point, I didn't give two shits, but, I was like, "You can hightail it out of there. I'll pack your bags for you,"
Yeah.
But
Actually, your shit's on the sidewalk. Bye.
yeah, exactly. But you know what? And that's why I feel like it's so important to talk or even to live with someone prior to marriage
Hmm.
because you see things, you experience things, and that maybe you're not comfortable with or that you don't like. Why find out
Yeah.
after the fact?
Yeah, it's just I also agree with that you should live with the person before getting married. I know it's
Mm-hmm.
the new way of thinking, like living in
Mm-hmm.
sin or whatever, but
Exactly.
drinking milk from the cow for free. I don't know that cow
Mm-hmm.
saying, but
Uh-huh.
like it's very important because that's how
Mm-hmm.
you really know if you're compatible. Like
Oh,
having to share
completely.
a bathroom with another person, having
Mm-hmm.
to sleep in the same bed night after night with the other person. You have to make sure you're compatible there.
Mm-hmm.
I snore, I sound like a
Mm-hmm.
bear. And thankfully, my beautiful wife is sweet and she just
Mm-hmm.
tells me to roll over very gently. She's like, honey, can you roll? Like she's even
Aw,
sweet about that. It's like,
so
shut up.
cute.
But like, you know what I mean? Like maybe that's a deal breaker for some people. And
Mhm.
can you imagine being in the 80s? I don't know why the 80s, but like being in the 80s and you're dating and you're courting, you get married and then you get a house together. And then you're like, oh, she
Yeah, no.
snores or she like, I don't know, whatever, something that'll totally bother you for the rest of your life, that'll send you out the door with Mrs.
Mhm.
Robinson.
'Cause that's the thing is, like, you can have a solid relationship. It
Oh,
could be amazing. Like,
yeah.
he could do everything, like, your man of your dreams, woman
Yeah.
of your dreams, whatever. But sometimes it's the little things that get
Hmm.
on your last nerve, and they build and build and build. And I'm telling you, it's the little things that will break you before the big things,
That's very true
hands
because
down.
those little things add up.
Yeah, and those are the things that happen all the time, and you're like, "Son of a," like,
Yeah.
uh-uh.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the thing is, like, when you live with someone, you see that. You can't be you have to be transparent. You can't hide this stuff,
No.
And also, you'll even see, like, and that's the thing is everything that happens in the dark comes to light when you live with someone.
Mm.
So, once, Charlie goes home, okay, and you go to your home, who knows what Charlie's doing after dark,
Hmm.
you know?
Maybe he
So
has a
it
porn
could
addiction. You don't know. Nothing
okay.
wrong with porn, but can you
No.
imagine if Sally Struthers didn't know about that porn addiction?
Okay. No, for real. So do you think cheating no, wait. Do you think porn is cheating?
I don't think watching porn is cheating. I do think that it crosses a line to be maybe subscribing to an OnlyFans or some sort of subscription that your partner doesn't know about.
Mhm.
Excuse
For
me, you're
sure.
funding her shoe collection? No.
Mhm.
I definitely have words to say about that.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, no, that I wouldn't be cool with, but like watching
Yeah.
like casual porn, no, not really.
So how about this? What if you and your partner were not, there was a dry spell. You guys haven't been having sex. Maybe you asked them, right?
Okay.
Come on, let's, how come we're not having sex,
Let's
right?
make
Whatever.
love.
Like, what's going on, right? And then,
Should we?
did we just? But, um, and then all of a sudden you walk into them or you find out that they've been, you know,
Oof.
doing
Okay.
stuff behind the scenes with Pornhub by themselves.
So you're talking about a Charlotte Trey type of situation because
Exactly.
so I didn't think that was cheating. I thought it
No.
was dishonest because we learned that he had some sort of thing like his perfect wife and he
Right.
couldn't be like filthy with,
Mm-hmm.
and then they
Exactly.
worked through that in therapy. So I didn't think
Mm-hmm.
that was cheating. I just thought that was kind of shady. He didn't share that with her.
Mm-hmm.
I would be hurt. I
Oh,
wouldn't be
completely.
like, oh my God, you're cheating on me. I don't think it's
Mm-hmm.
cheating. I
Right.
I think it's part of a bigger issue. Like, okay, do you have like some sort of, do you not find me attractive anymore? Talk about that. And like,
Mm-hmm.
are you dealing with some body issues of your own? Because that could be a big thing too.
Mm-hmm.
Or are you just not wanting to like, you know, just
Have
be with,
sex with
yeah,
them.
have sex. Like you just
Yeah. And you're
self-serve.
right. I do think it's like more of just like a personal thing.
Yeah.
And I don't think, but I do think that it's, like you said, it's not cheating per se, but it's more just being dishonest in
Yeah.
the fact that if you can't come clean to your spouse,
Yeah.
and I think then what does that mean? But then it goes. But the problem with it is that it pushes the envelope more and makes your spouse feel like they are less than, and that then can push them into other things as well. Like I
Hmm.
just feel like it's the start of like the beginning of the end for a lot of things. If you can't communicate about this kind of stuff, then how are you going to deal with everything else the rest of your lives?
Communication is the number one in my book. I think yours as well,
Mhm.
like in a solid ass relationship. So
Mhm.
if you're solid, your communication is solid, you're already knowing that your partner
Right.
is struggling with something and thus needs to self-serve with some porn.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, and but I do think cuz there are a lot of people and no judgment towards anyone that doesn't like that. Um but I think that there are a lot of people that can't stand porn and find it very offensive and does not want that included. Like men, please don't, like if you're being intimate with your wife or even vice versa, and I don't know, maybe some people, unless your wife likes it or your
Yeah.
husband likes it, do not suggest to turn something on while you're about to get busy. I
Yeah.
had a friend a while ago tell me that their husband asked them, or boyfriend, I can't remember what it was, but asked them to turn something on. And he's over there focusing on someone else.
Oh my
And I'm like,
God.
that is not
Ugh.
okay. Like at all. Like
That's
sometimes
like,
people don't think.
no, again, Sex in the City when Miranda was going out with that guy that was addicted to porn, he
Yes.
would like move her out of
Yes.
his vision, like from blocking the TV.
Who does
Uh-uh.
that? That is so wrong on so many levels. And that to me, that would just push me out the door. I'd be like, I'm good. You can have your, boob tube here and, have fun with it. I want a real person that's going to pay attention to me.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
that being said, there are different types of cheating, as we know, in relationships. There's the chronic infidelity. So the person that, you know, cheats all the time,
Yes.
and the person cheating fails to consider their partner's feelings.
Mm.
They don't care, basically. It's
Then
just
why are
like,
you in a relationship?
exactly. And it's very difficult for them to stop. So even though they've said they won't do it again, 6 months later, they're a Thompson. Is that his last name?
Yeah, Tristan
Yeah.
Thompson and Eric Benet to a
Yes.
Halle Berry. Like, get out of
Exactly.
here.
Yeah.
I'm addicted. I have a problem. It's not me. Then I'm not staying.
Yeah.
Why are we even having this conversation? Like, oh my God.
Exactly. And it's to me that's just an excuse. Because if you love someone, if you have Halle Berry as your wife, Why are you looking any further?
Oh
I
my
know there's a
God.
lot more that lies beneath, but if you love the person, you should be able to work through that.
Yes.
Like we just said, communication. Then there's emotional cheating, which I feel
Ugh.
is probably the
I
worst.
agree 1000 billion%.
Uh-huh. It is the intimacy resembles a dedicated relationship, but non-sexual acts are committed. The cheater becomes emotionally detached from their partner and is more open with the other person.
Nope.
Yeah. So
Been
that,
there.
uh-huh.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, exactly. And that's rough.
Yeah.
Like sex is sex. When I think back to Rachel and Ross,
Yeah.
I could have I don't want to say I could have forgave him, but I could have, I think, if you know, you never know unless you're the person in the situation, right? But looking at the bigger picture and looking into the future and how things came about, I feel like she should have forgave him, right? Because there was a lot of things, right? But when it becomes emotional and you're still with your spouse, but now they've brought a third party into the picture, and there's texting, there's maybe, I don't know, sexting, there's just getting deep with someone like on another level.
Ugh.
That's hard.
Imagine, let's just imagine Kara and Tony being in an emotional affair with other women. Imagine that.
Mm-mm. Yeah, no, I would that would I yeah, Tony already knows this. I'd be done. Like to me there's no turning back from that
No,
ever. Because
sounds,
I can't guarantee that he wouldn't have feelings for that person.
you would never know.
Right. And maybe he would stop the conversation or the communication with that person because he got caught. But how do I know he's not going to live the rest of his life wondering what if?
How are you going to live the rest of your life without like wanting to check his phone or
Mhm.
stopping your brain from thinking, is he thinking about
Yes.
whoever? Like
Hmm.
I can't imagine like,
Yeah.
like, and again, like my last relationship, like it ended because of cheating.
Hmm.
And I was like, I don't care. I'll do whatever it takes. I really loved this person. I was willing to like put up with it. And you were like, can you imagine like putting this all behind you really and like going with your family and friends, now that everyone, your close people know, and could you
Hmm.
really forget? No. I
Yeah.
no,
Hmm.
never, ever, ever.
Yeah, because not only now are you nurturing, your relationship that was, and you're trying to rebuild that, right? But now you're also nurturing your own feelings that you're going to
Ugh.
have to live with for the rest of your life, trying to convince yourself that you're okay with this situation and that you do trust them, even though you're trying to convince yourself that you trust them. But there's always those questions in your head when they come home late, if they don't answer their phone, if they
Mm.
turn their phone upside down, if there's a text message at 11:30 at night or 1 a.m. in the morning. Like there's all these things. And you can't live with that for the rest of your life. Like to me, those are things that you need to seriously consider if you have been cheated on and ask yourself, are you okay with that? I think a lot of times people just react on impulse and say, because you're afraid of losing that person, you're afraid of what normal would look like without them there.
Mhm.
And you forget. And I think that people sometimes, when you're in a relationship, especially with someone who is like a narcissist, like I said earlier, like they convince you so well
Oh,
to believe that you can't be alone, that you need them to survive, that your life without them is going to be nothing,
yep.
right? So you basically are trying to convince yourself that you can, but you have their little stupid, mouths in your ear telling you, no, I can't live with my life without them. Even if they did cheat on me, it'll get better.
Yeah,
In time things will heal.
that was me.
Hmm.
I wanted to move cities.
Mhm.
and was convinced, no, 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 like,
Mhm.
no, you can't lose this apartment. You can't leave here, like what? And I'm sorry. I cannot believe, and I am my mother's daughter.
Mhm.
I'm not one to be told what to do. And for a year, I put up a year and a
Mhm.
half thinking that I deserved that. Like
Yeah.
it's a lot to, I'm still recovering
Of
from a
course.
lot of the repercussions, and
Mhm.
I'm, again, like I'll always say this, like I wasn't completely innocent, I'm, as I said at the beginning of this episode, like a lot of cheating leads to when this one of the persons gets too comfortable, and that was me. I
Mhm.
truly thought that this person would never hurt me like that. And then I
Mhm.
was letting work and life get in the way, and stress get in the way. And that's what happened. So, like, I acknowledge that,
Mhm.
of course, I'm not like, oh,
Right.
100% like the victim, but hell, 90%. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think that it's only natural when you've been involved in a situation like this, like where someone has been cheating on you or whatever it may be, like you automatically question what you did wrong. And like you said, there's two sides to every story. There's two teams, okay? But I feel like there's nothing that in that relationship, there's nothing that could have been fixed if she actually communicated what she felt was wrong or how she was feeling. And even though I know you say like she did, but I didn't
Mhm.
listen. But
Yeah.
if you knew the severity of it and how like she felt from beginning to end and all the things maybe that she told me or Tony or other people or even if you guys went to counseling, like I don't want to say who knows where you'll be right now because you are where you're supposed to be, but it might have been different in the
Yeah.
sense of maybe she wouldn't have had to go to those measures of doing what she did.
Maybe we wouldn't have gotten married.
Right.
That's what I always hang
Exactly.
on to. Like,
Hmm. Yeah, don't be selfish.
ugh,
You're not, if you don't want to be with someone, just let them go.
amen.
You know, don't cheat on someone. You
Oh,
know, like cheating on someone to me is something that is worse. Like, I don't want to say you should kill someone, but what I mean, like, but when to me, cheating is something that is awful to do with someone because it doesn't leave. If your spouse or your significant other finds out, even if your relationship doesn't last, they will carry it with them for every other relationship after that.
mhm.
And it's something that scars their soul, their heart. And it's such a deep scar that it's hard for them to ever get over that. And,
Yes.
in new relationships, there will always be that little speck of distrust that they bring with them because of the trauma that they went through in their previous relationships.
Yes.
Um, so the other one is a one night stand. So I think that's pretty self-explanatory. And I mean, I don't really know, like I can't imagine ever having a one night stand with someone.
No, I'm a serial dater. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, and I get it, some people do that, but if we are in a relationship, it says a one night stander, it is a one-time sexual encounter between two people without any expectation of pursuing it further. But as we know, up pops the devil all the time. Okay. Ah, Becky's pregnant from that one night stand, okay? And uh you know, Joe didn't think that anybody would find out because he was on vacation.
Oh my God.
Okay. He was in, I don't know, Zimbabwe. Like, but things happen. Okay. And when, you know, the thing is to me, sex is one of those things. And it even says in the Bible, okay, it's when you allow your soul to open in a way, like you give your soul to that person, right? Like you're
Yes.
allowing your soul to be revealed. It is one of the most intimate, one of the most sacred things that you can do with someone.
Mm-hmm.
And for men, I feel like, and I'm not saying this for all men, but I know for a lot of men, they can detach.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
Definitely.
you know, bam, bam, I'm good. See ya. Right.
Yeah.
And the women, though, are there feeling a deeper connection the minute it happens.
Oh, yeah,
And
definitely.
if you think that you could go home to your wife and kids and not think that Delilah is going to try and find your ass, okay, if she, for one, she ends up pregnant, or two, to get, I don't know, to get back at you because you did this, she's going to be looking up your ass on Facebook. Okay. Don't do it. It's just messy.
It's so dirty.
And
It's
it
just, ugh.
is. You know, it's just like going to a strip club and having sex with one of them. It's gross. You know,
And then
nothing
they,
against strippers, but don't do that. If you're married, just keep it clean. And if you're not happy,
exactly.
leave. You know, because you're just not hurting your wife, especially if you have kids. You
Yeah.
know, and I'm telling you, your kids too will see that. And if you've ever been in if you ever had a parent that cheated, um,
Oh,
and you put your parent on a pedestal thinking
oh,
that they would never hurt your mom or hurt your dad, and you witness that,
you don't forget it.
it is as though you were the one cheated on. And you were, in a way.
I'm still dealing with it. Look how many
Mhm.
years later.
Yeah, even if you hadn't had that experience prior in your previous relationship, the the things that you've dealt with just from your childhood, you know, in your own relationship with your parents, just like me, you carry that and you see that. And it already causes a distrust the minute you start dating. And I mean, that's why I think it's imperative for parents to understand that everything that you do, your kids see, and they do follow in your footsteps, no matter how much you don't want them to, or don't think they will, or you
Hmm.
think they'll be better. But lead by freaking example.
Yes.
You know, teach your kids, teach your boys to have values, teach your boys to treat women with respect from the get-go. You know, teach your girls to have respect for their bodies. You know, that
Yeah.
they don't need a man to validate who they are, you know, as a woman, that they can travel, they can do things on their own. Like, I feel like nowadays, back in the day, I think kind of like in the 90s, I think that it was kind of like a thing to try and still instill these things in your kids, you know,
Hmm.
like back in the 80s, you know, it was a thing to teach your little kids to hold the door open for a lady, right?
Yeah.
You don't see that anymore.
Oh no.
You know, like all these morals and, manners and everything, chivalry, they don't even know what that means. It's very hard to come by a kid that has good manners.
Pretzels, probably the one.
I'm trying. I try. And the last one is, I have to ask you, do you know what micro cheating is?
Is that like sexting? Like little, is that what is it?
Yeah, so micro cheating is actually a new term that a lot of people don't know and they aren't familiar with. And it was formed because of the new age of social media.
Oh, is this
Um,
sliding into DMs?
Pretty much. It's like,
No.
so it is a subtle form of cheating that does not involve physical intimacy, but it consists in committing small inappropriate acts with people outside of your relationship. So yeah, sliding into someone's DMs. Um, okay, question. Um, if you're married, do you feel that, and you don't even have to be married, just if you're in a relationship, right? Do you feel it's appropriate for your wife or husband to be liking the opposite sex's photos? If they are, you don't know them, maybe they do, I don't know. But say, for example, me, and I see a really hot guy on Instagram, and I'm like, ew, like, right? And I'm commenting, hey, you're my dream man back then. You know what I mean? And like, I don't want to say that's cheating, but
No.
to me, I feel like, okay, you're having those. To me, it would make me feel as his wife, if I saw Tony do that, it would make me feel some sort of way, like, To me, that's just very messy. And I feel like it's a huge thing nowadays.
Are you talking about like celebrities?
It could be, no, it could be anybody.
Okay.
It could be like, you have random people on Instagram, girls that are just pop up on your feeds that, you're looking at reels. And
Mhm.
it's, I don't know, I'm thinking like I don't know, someone that works out and half naked, you know what I mean? And
It's
they're over there liking stuff.
I do. That's the thing. So like I will watch reels and I will like because I like the content.
Hmm.
And if it's a attractive like guy or girl, I don't really notice that. I'm like it's more of what they're doing.
Hmm.
But if the person is just being like swarmy, like and just like going on like IG models
Hmm.
pages and stuff and like commenting ewy things, and then I would feel
Hmm.
annoyed. But I
Hmm.
also don't think that I don't think that there's a real threat
Hmm.
unless like this person unless you, sliding into DMs like, hey, you want to meet up? Then that's the next level. But liking a post, not so
Hmm.
much.
Okay, so how would you feel if you came across, right? You were on your reels because and then all of a sudden you see on a, say, I don't know, it's okay, just let's say it's a scientist.
Okay.
And she's really pretty, right? And she's tall, I don't know.
Ew.
And Kara's like, oh my gosh, you have such a beautiful brain.
I
Or
would comment to Angel. I'd be like, "What the fuck is this?" But then we would laugh about it.
right. And so I think that, and I think though, like, I know for a fact, like, okay, for example, I know that Tony, so there was but it was what was it? She was famous. I don't know. I don't even know what her name was because I didn't care. Right.
Mhm.
But I came across something like that. And Tony had put, oh my gosh,
Uh-oh.
you were my,
Childhood crush.
or something like that. And that
Okay.
was all he had said. Right.
Okay.
And I'm
What'd
not
you
making
do?
an excuse for Tony, but let's just say I was livid,
What did you
right?
do? Please
Oh
tell
no,
me.
oh no,
Did you cuss? I love when you
damn
cuss.
straight I
Oh,
did. I screenshot it and I was like, what the fuck is this?
yes. I was hoping
Sorry,
you were gonna
love.
say that.
Sorry, love. We talked about this and whatever.
And then what
I go,
happened?
what the fuck is this? And he's like, I don't know. Well, she was my childhood crush. Like he didn't think anything of it. He was like, and I didn't think it was a big deal. Like, and of course, as a girl, okay, and I don't know, maybe guys are like this too. We then go into this person's page and then we start looking at everything they like, right? And I think it's just ingrained in us as people of this modern day and
Of
age,
course.
and we're modern day sleuths, right? So he's like, well, I didn't mean anything bad by it. I was just making that comment. I go, yeah, but were you hoping she would answer? Like, I don't know. Cause for me, I never comment on, like, I just don't, like,
Yeah.
even famous people, I don't go and like comment. For
Yeah.
me, I think it's like they're never gonna answer me.
Yeah.
But for Tony, I was just like, seriously?
Yeah.
Right? And he felt so bad and he was so apologetic. And I was like, okay, and I don't think it was anything meant to be disrespectful. And
No.
and for me, I know, like, now he knows where I stand, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that a lot of people, like, I just still don't understand this day and age, people don't get that things like that can happen,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Like you can, like, I've looked on some pages, not on purpose, but on accident, where people have fallen, not fallen, but like they say nasty crap.
Oh
Like some
shit.
people I know.
Oh
You know how
shit.
you could see who likes stuff
Yeah.
and you see them and you're like, "Oh, okay, I know him and he's married with children." And he's over there like on someone's picture of like a butt and a thong and
Oh
they're
no.
like, liking these things. And I'm like, "Hello, if you could see that I'm liking them or that you like stuff, whatever it may be, what makes you think that people may not see you liking this stuff.
Oh my God.
Like, I just feel like people don't think or they don't care. They don't care what people think. Like, they're willing to risk it, or
Yeah.
risk the embarrassment.
I think there's like half of the people are like, this is just social media. It's not a big deal and
Hmm.
mean that, you know? And then there's the other half that are like, it's just social media, but like they have other ulterior agendas. I will
Yeah.
say, like, celebrities or like whatever, like
Hmm.
it's like, it's fine, but like I could not stand Kate Blanchett after me and Angel started going out because that just reminds me of like the type of person that she would date prior to me. And I'd just
Hmm.
like, let skinny slore. And then she'd be like, I don't like her. And I'm like, I don't care. That was your past. Now you have some
Hmm.
flavor up in your life.
Well, so I have a question. So along these terms of micro cheating,
Yeah.
how would you feel if, okay, for example, I've seen no one that I know, but I've seen people who are friends with like exes on Instagram or Facebook, and they're over there liking each other's posts.
Uh-uh.
And I'm like, does your wife or husband do that?
No, that
And
is
see,
not okay.
exactly. I just, to me, I think that social media in general, the internet with Tinder, all these things set up a huge, like a different realm of cheating. And it gets pretty twisted because you could pretty much be whoever you want online,
Yeah.
until the shit hits the fan, right? And until someone finds out.
Right.
And I think too with social media and like your telephone, there's so many ways now to like I said the other on one of our other podcasts, the vanish mode.
Oh yeah,
Like, what the hell's that? Why do you have to vanish anything?
exactly. Shady.
Yes.
No,
Or, oh, go ahead.
no, I'm just like, sorry. No, there should be no friends with exes on social media. Sorry.
No,
No.
I agree. Because I just think that for one, I don't want my ex to know anything about me or my current relationship. And two, I just wouldn't want either my spouse or my significant other to know that even if I'm friends with them, I don't want them thinking that I have any interest in knowing anything about them.
Yeah, it's also could get messy. I had an ex like request me on Instagram a year or two ago, and I
Mhm.
shared it with my wife. Like I was like,
Mhm.
"Oh my God, so and so."
Mhm.
And for a minute, I was like, because then, again, we always talk about Sex in the City, but you
Mhm.
know how Miranda's trying to like not throw away her exes?
Mhm.
I kind of wish that that could be a thing too. You know what I mean? Because, like, to quote Carrie Bradshaw, season 3, like, if you love somebody for X amount of years, you've loved someone,
Mhm.
okay? Then you break up. Where does the love go? For
Right.
that person, right? So it's like, why can't you be friends? But then I sit back and I think about like the exes that I would want to be friends with. And it's messy. It's just not a good idea. So like I shared it with
Mhm.
my wife and then I was like, yeah, no, I shouldn't
Mhm.
encourage that. So
Oh, for
delete.
sure.
But
Yeah.
she and also like deleted exes from her social media as well.
Mhm.
Because I just why are you here? Like why
Mhm.
are you go get a life? Like
Oh, yeah, for sure. Because I think too, like, before you get in a relationship with someone, you don't know a lot of the people that they had relationships prior
no, you
to,
don't.
right? So sometimes, especially if you're with someone that has like, I don't know, hella people that they follow, or vice versa, and you just don't know. And not everybody has your good intention,
Mm-hmm.
or has good intentions. Um, and I think that with social media, though, I think it creates, because they say that this micro cheating, even though, like they say, it's not a psychological term, It is simply an internet-friendly shorthand for describing one partner testing the limits of partnership by creating intimacy with someone else, yet veering without veering into sexual relationships with them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's surprisingly very common. And they say that micro cheating is actually a lot more popular than many of the other cheating
Mm-hmm.
situations out there.
I can
And I
believe
think,
that.
yeah, and I think because people feel more free to do it and they don't think that they're going to get caught.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, it's like that whole thing of even with the cell phone, once cell phones became a thing, I think that it brought out a whole level of trust that was questioned and became like a big thing. Like we talked about the other day, like turning your phone down, turning the screen down and putting it face down on the counter
Oh,
versus, I mean, where did that come from and
that
why?
is so, oh my God, that is such a trigger for me. Oh my
Yes,
gosh.
and it was a huge trigger for me too. Even
Yeah.
with Tony, when I first started going out with him, my ex did that all the time, and he would always have his phone face down. And you know, come to find out, I now know why is because he more than likely was cheating on me left and right, God knows what. But you know, in that relationship, I really didn't want to know because I was just like, to me, I was just like, okay, I just don't want to deal with that like stress,
Yeah.
right? And I was trying to figure out a way out anyway. But the phone causes so many issues in so many relationships. It's ridiculous. Because if it's not that, like, okay, for example, do you guys share, like, for example, say I text you really late at night on accident and because I'm a late bird and say
Mm-hmm.
I text you around 1 a.m., not
Mm-hmm.
thinking, right? Oh, she'll read it in the morning and you didn't have it on silent,
Mm-hmm.
right? Will Kara say, who's that? Or does she just not even acknowledge
I
it?
think, yeah, like she'll either be sleeping or she'll be like, is everything okay? Because like it's always
Hmm.
a fear that it's
Right.
apparent.
Exactly.
But not like, who the fuck's texting you at this hour?
Hmm.
Because
Yeah.
that I would be like, I'm so sorry. Like, I forgot to put, you want to immediately go, oh my God, like, sorry, because that's what I had
Hmm.
to do in my last relationships. But
Hmm.
she's so like, oh my God, no, it's okay. Just, like, is everything okay? Like, she's so sweet.
Yeah. And see, Tony's like that too. Tony's like, oh, what is that? And I'm like, who the F is that? Just kidding. No, I'm like, who's texting you so late?
I love when you give attitude.
Yeah, Tony's amazing,
Yeah.
right? And Tony's wonderful. And believe me, like that story I said the other a minute ago, it wasn't a reflection of him, but at the same time, I think that Tony just didn't get it. And believe me, I've liked a few things that I'm sure Tony will find along the way, and I'll be
Hmm.
like, "Uh-oh." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we all are guilty of that. And we don't know what our intentions are at that moment, and it's probably nothing bad. But I
No.
think because of situations like this, all it takes is one bad apple to spoil the bunch. And when you find creepers that do shit like that, it just creates a really bad, feeling that in some people it could be very triggering. Just
Hmm.
like the cell phone's triggering for you, social media, especially if you've caught your boyfriend, husband, whatever, cheating in someone's, you've caught messages on the DM. Like, see, to me, I kind of feel like I said earlier, everything that's in the dark will eventually come to light. And
Hmm.
I feel like I don't want to look for stuff because
Yeah.
if there's things out there, it will reveal itself,
Yeah. Very
right?
true.
And I feel like when you look for things, you find things that maybe don't even mean anything, but in your head, because you're looking for that, it seems that to be the case.
Hmm.
And you create more issues than maybe you should even have started with. You shouldn't even have gone there. Right.
Exactly.
And I mean, I think cheating as a whole, especially this day and age, is very different. It looks a lot different than it was in the 90s. Okay.
Hmm.
Versus now. Like, imagine in the 90s, it was all about people, paging someone.
Oh,
Okay. And, God knows what. Like,
yeah.
it was completely different, but you could be a lot more quiet and on the DL about things. Now everything is out there.
Yeah.
And I feel like we can go into a lot more. Do you have any common stuff about cheating, or is there anything that you want to talk about? Because I would keep on going, but we'll be here all night. And I think maybe we'll do a two-parter where I go into other things. I just kind of wanted to go over the different
The
types of
main.
cheating
No.
and, just talk to
I
you about it because it's
yeah.
heavy.
This topic is always going to be one for me, a big trigger for me, because I never
Hmm.
thought I'd go through something like that. And I did. I do think it's important to note something that you told me when I was going through it and kind of beating myself up for being so depressed about it and
Hmm.
angry at myself for letting it happen, I guess, and not
Hmm.
being all Angela Bassett and waiting to exhale and setting her shit on fire. I really wish I
Yeah.
could have done that, or incriminating self, like, oof, the list goes on.
Hmm.
But you were like, you're mourning, it's like mourning a death.
Hmm.
So don't feel bad for feeling weak or
Right.
for being upset or crying. You need to heal,
Hmm.
and you'll come out the other side. And you said something really beautiful about time, like timing is everything. And a year from now you'll look back and you can't believe like you were ever there. And I that helped me so much.
Hmm.
So like whoever's going through something like this,
Hmm.
just know that you will come out the other side stronger and with a
Hmm.
better sense of self, and you'll know like what you want and what you deserve and what you won't refuse to settle for.
Hmm.
So I
Yes.
I can answer questions about that all day long. So
Yeah.
so this topic is something that's very like it's constantly evolving, like you just shared with the social media and the micro
Hmm.
cheating and everything. And Lord only knows what cheating's going to look like in 5 years. What's next? Like,
Yeah,
what's
and that's
next?
that's the
I feel
scary
like
part.
I feel like driverless cars will be involved somehow. I don't know.
Okay, because there's no driver to tell your secrets. Okay.
Mhm.
Imagine how many people are going to be in the back
Oh,
seat doing
you
stuff they
just
shouldn't.
Oh my God. Till next time, Neen.
I just wanted to real quick though say that if you're married, there are some things that you shouldn't do, and I think that don't be overly flirtatious.
Hmm.
Okay. Don't share your phone number with the opposite sex unless I think you need to be open and tell your partner, okay, whether it's opposite sex or whatever. Like even like with you and Kara, like,
Hmm.
you know, do you find it a little bit harder when it comes to cheating, when it comes to same-sex marriages? Because, I know that it's maybe even more common. I don't know. But do you think that like, okay, because when you talk about like man and a woman, like, for a man to share his phone, a married man to or share his telephone number with, say, a girl at work,
Hmm.
right? To me, I don't think that would be appropriate unless it was something work related, right? But talking maybe after work hours, you're like pushing the envelope, right? But say, for example, how would you decipher if you're in a same-sex marriage and Tony say maybe like was in a same-sex relationship and he shared his number with a guy? How would his partner know that it was something, you know, because it's not like, oh, okay, well, that's not uncommon.
No, I think it's the same
Yeah.
as it is in a straight couple. Because women are ruthless. I
Hmm.
again, like, yeah, like there's always some little hoe in the corners. So
Hmm. And I
it's
think you have to trust your gut too.
you do, yeah.
Yeah.
Just because you one could be like, oh, they're just a friend, and maybe back in the day they
Hmm.
got away with it, but nowadays, no. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
who's
I
your work
agree.
wife? No, I don't think
Hmm.
so.
Yes. And so, and also be careful with the people that hide their wedding rings. I believe you should be wearing your wedding ring.
Hmm.
I don't understand people that don't,
I'm not
especially when
wearing
you've
mine
only
right now
been.
because I wash dishes.
Yeah, yeah, me neither, because I forgot it upstairs.
Okay.
So, but the thing is I have that on all the time,
Yes.
right? And the thing is like it always makes me wonder when people have only been married for like 5 years and they don't wear their wedding rings anymore. Like, I don't know, to me it just doesn't sit well because what are you trying to convey?
Right.
Right? There should be something on that finger. I don't care if it's a piece of foil. Okay, but there should be something. Okay?
A tattoo.
Yes. And I just think, as like you said, there's just a lot of things that you need to think about when, you decide to go down that route,
Hmm.
right? And all the people that you're going to hurt. Like you said, it's been years since you've been in that previous relationship and you still can go back to that place and
Hmm.
think and feel of how it felt.
Hmm.
And it's not a good place to be in.
No, not at all.
And it's things that, and I have a question. Did you ever get an apology?
No. I mean, I somewhat, and then thank you for being, you were a great wife after the
Mm-hmm.
fact. I thought that closure occurred
Mm-hmm.
and then it didn't. It's weird.
Yeah.
Like I thought, wow, everything ended nicely
Mm-hmm.
and very nicely. And then we run into each other. And it's like one thing I can't stand is when you run into an ex and they act like they don't know you. That is so
Yeah.
immature, and I refuse to stand for it. So if I see
Mm-hmm.
you on the street, I'm gonna be like, "Hi, we were
Mm-hmm.
in a relationship. Why are you being weird?"
See, that's where you and I differ because I'm like, deuces,
Ah,
bitch. I'm like, yes, you could say hi, be mature, and I think it depends too on how the relationship ended and
yeah,
stuff. But, um, you can't just pretend it didn't happen,
exactly.
you know? Do you think it's important to apologize?
I think
Think it's
so.
important for closure to get that apology?
Yes,
Yeah, I do too. And
I
I think
do.
it's,
Oh,
uh-huh.
sorry. I just want to say I
Mhm.
do, but it doesn't mean that closure immediately comes because I'm
Mhm.
still dealing with it
Oh,
in
yeah.
little ways. So, like,
Mhm.
yeah.
I think it just comes with time. And I think too that it's important to, um, I don't know. I think it is important because a lot of times, especially women, want to know why
Hmm.
and they want to know what they did. Because
Yeah.
the minute that something like this happens, we tend to blame ourselves. And sometimes it has nothing to do with us and everything to do with them. And I think that's the big thing to understand, that a lot of times when people cheat, it really isn't about the other person.
Hmm.
Unless you're in a relationship and it's just not working and you're trying to force something that's not. And
Yeah.
maybe next time, because when I was watching this video, when I was looking up this topic, there was a lot of people that were talking about why it would be okay to cheat.
Mm.
And we'll go into that next time on Fridays with Neen. But is there even, like, that's something to think about? Is there even any situation that would make cheating okay? For me, I say no, but some people beg to differ. How about
Like
you?
the only way I can think is like deathbed wishes, and I would smother my partner if they
Mhm.
had the nerve, like we talked about.
Yes, exactly. I don't think
So,
there's any excuse for
or
it
like people
personally.
that want threesomes, or people that want a voyeuristic, like type of moment,
Hmm.
maybe.
But see, like when people have open
Hmm.
relationships, how do you, I don't know. Like, okay, say for example, you did a threesome,
Hmm.
right? But we hear way too many times about people doing threesomes, and then someone gets attached to someone and
Yeah.
someone's left out,
Yeah.
or they're too excited about that third person being way too excited for their
Yeah.
partner,
Yeah.
or they keep coming back and it
Yeah.
was supposed to be only one time.
Yep. A birthday surprise.
Yes, exactly. I mean, I personally don't believe in that kind of stuff, but because I couldn't handle that. Like, uh-uh. I can't handle another person in my bedroom kind of thing. But some people, and because that's the thing, that was another thing that people talked about, and that's something that we can talk about later, is that considered cheating if you have an open relationship? Do you believe in a hall pass?
If it's an open relationship, you need to have the rules established and all
Mm-hmm.
parties need to be in agreement. I know a lot of
Right.
people that are in open relationships and it works out just fine. I
Mm-hmm.
personally wouldn't be okay, even
Mm-hmm.
though, yeah, I don't think I could do it. But like if I was okay with it, I would have to be in an open relationship with someone that was equally okay. And there's ground rules
Mm-hmm.
for that you have to agree to. And then that's
Yeah.
it, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, because I mean, there's a lot of people that don't believe in monogamy, and
Yeah.
that's perfectly okay. But like you said, if you're going to be in a relationship, you need to make sure you're very honest and forthcoming with your partner that this is how you are and this is your expectations, right?
Exactly.
So there's so many different avenues that we could go with this, and I'm going to stop here tonight.
Ooh, all
And
right.
we'll see where the next chapter of Fridays with Neen take us.
Sounds like a plan. This was very riveting, Miss Neen, and you've certainly given us lots of food for thought.
Yeah,
Yeah. And you know me, I love this topic, so we could talk
yeah,
about this all day long.
I agree. And I just want to end with the fact that it's the golden rule. Don't do anything that you wouldn't want someone to do to you.
Here, here.
Yeah.
Exactly. Don't be all victimized when it happens to you.
Yes. Amen.
Huh. And on that note, thank you, Neen, for your
Oh,
candidness
oh,
and
you're welcome.
your amazingness. And
Likewise, such an
oh,
open book.
you're so
Love
cute. And
it.
thank you for the cussing. Also, we all
Oh, you're
appreciate when
welcome.
you cuss. And
Yeah, I listened to today's episode. I was like, yikes, yikes.
I
Oh my
know
gosh.
I told Angel, I go, oh my God, turn it up because Neen cussed a lot. It was cute.
Gosh.
More cussing in
I need to
2024.
go on timeout.
No, don't take it away.
Oh man.
No, but this was so much fun, Neen. And if you don't have anything else, shall
No.
we? All right. Well,
Bye,
Toti is
Daisy.
here. Daisy's here, and she wants to
Aw.
say that she's going to catch you on the flip side.
Oh yeah. Peace out, Daisy.
Isn't she cute?